Here we go. Good morning. Welcome to today's meditation. I'm Rev Kari, as many of you know, and it is both an honor and a blessing to be here with you today as we navigate so much of the energetic shift that we are in the midst of. We are truly, it's incredible to be alive at this time in the whole scope and context of human consciousness, its evolutionary path and timing. And make no mistake, each of you that are finding yourselves here, especially live with me this morning, thank you, as well as those coming in remotely and over the course of time as you people make their way in and find these meditations remotely. We are truly, truly, truly here to be leaders within this change. And today's title, Metatron as the Sacred Scribe. It's the fifth title that we find ourselves working with as we connect to the frequencies of Metatron. It is powerful. It is really one of, I mean, they're all powerful, but this one is where you as the starseed, you as the light being, really get to begin to embrace your power to create. It's how you harness your power to create, obviously through both the written and the spoken word. And so, as you know, I've been tracking with some history around this. However, I think if we're all familiar with history and context and the way the stories are written, we know how incredible the stories, the incredible impact the stories that are told are or have on consciousness and where the ship has been steered and where it is going in the future. And those stories right now are what are up for grabs as we move through this evolution in consciousness, not only on a cultural level, but on a global level, as well as on an individual level. And so today we're going to be recalibrating some of those stories and mostly tuning you into the power you harness as the sacred scribe. So what are we writing? Not only is it around, we're here to be leveraging our beliefs when we're talking about being the sacred scribe, and beliefs dictate the flow of the energy in the field, right? The more expansive the belief, the more you're able to meet your needs through your values, and those values all are driven and guided by different beliefs, what you're capable of, not capable of, your partnerships, you name it, right? It all correlates. And ultimately, we have the ability to not only shift and wire consciousness that directs and guides the energy within our own field, but then also expand out upon that into the ways in which our field is impacting, stretching, reaching the world. And your word, right? The spoken word, especially as we become more energetic, is going to really land for a lot of people. Your voice, the ways in which you structure your thoughts, the ways in which you organize your brain, and your activities and the things that you are up to, it's all relevant. Again, this is probably one of our culminating, if you will, areas where the most excitement can happen, right? Because we can make the most literal changes right here and now by just simply shifting a few beliefs within the field. For example, connecting to the energies of future vision, right? Our future vision and the ways in which we're able to bring the frequencies of the future vision into the here and now so that it may become manifest that much faster. I think that's one pivotal belief that can have immediate results if we allow it to. So what I want to sync us with today and what we're going to be weaving into, again, we can look back over time and see where and how the consciousness was guided and shifted through the different texts and mythology that was handed down, whether it's through something like the Bible, written, or Code of Hammurabi. There have been many, many, many different texts along the way. And there's also been many codes and edicts that have been written. And the thing of the written word is that it imprints the energy. It's the first way we can imprint the creation in the energy that is taking shape and being formed. The more potent it is, the more dense in energy it is, the greater the imprint, the longer lasting. Why is it we can connect to, for example, the words of Plato, right? Or Homer's Odyssey, and be taken back to the frequencies of those times, because the density or the lack of density in the energy, the connection to truth that was in those words was eternal, right? It was everlasting, and it imprinted and has thus impacted our current consciousness today, and will continue to do so. So historically, what I want us to connect to in the realm of human consciousness are a couple of key beliefs. I mentioned one, that our future vision is not actually future. It's just a frequency that we need to tune into in the here and now. And we have the ability to manifest and create it by vibrating in it and honing into it. Two, we have the power to shift our beliefs. And in so doing, we open ourselves up to frequency. And in particular, as it relates to the Metatron, that frequency is our diamond ray, right? We have a blueprint, and also our super conscious, right? Like that Metatronic brilliant white light. And here's what I want to anchor and land in our belief construct. And that is that super conscious, while maybe has a personality and isn't always willing to do what we ask it to do, it also has the ability to access all of the fields, all of the frequencies, all of everything. In certain bodies of work, particularly Dolores Cannon, you stumble across her stories of inviting the superconscious, that Metatronic diamond ray, which is our original blueprint, refitting cartilage into knees that had lost all of their cartilage, regrowing gums and teeth that had slipped into a decayed state, among many other things. It's truly just a matter of forging the partnership, knowing how to connect with it, and inviting it to go do what it knows how to do. You are a creation force. And so in light of the consciousness, there was a time when we understood, or at least were at a collective level, connected to these abilities, or connected to and had strong belief in gods that were very real and had the ability, the capability to make these things happen. As humanity's collective evolved, we slipped away into the individual, coming and bringing our etheric field out of connection to the collective at the level and the extent that it was, in condensing it into our physical bodies. All of that energy coalesced into the brain, ultimately forging new networks, right, that would build up the current construct and mental capacities and acuities that we have today. So where do we go from here? Because if, as humans, we didn't have the ability to think like the mind of God, like the Metatron, now here today we do. And how do we tap into the resources, the fields of energy that can begin to teach us how to interplay and interact with the superconscious to do what needs to get done? And it's from there that we get to sync up with the historical aspects of the Metatron, known as Thoth. Thoth in Egyptian lore was the sacred scribe. He's known to have written the Emerald tablets. And through a dear friend and mentor who is a channel for Thoth and has been for over 58 years, He is also a human manifest, one of the many manifest forms and mentors that the Metatron took on, one of the bodies that he took on. Toth has had many, many incarnations over the years, both in all of the predominant religions and cultures. And it is the emerald tablets that we get to sync with today. Again, the written collective, if you will, that as Metatron was tasked with becoming the sacred scribe and given, I believe it was 60 days. Now, whether those were in sacred time or in human time, I couldn't tell you, but I believe it was 60 days to go and write all that had been, all that is, and all that will be. And that, for many of you who are well versed with the Akashic, sounds pretty familiar. In Metatron's case, it was an Akashic of all of creation and the body of work of all of creation. So with that, enough talking. Just wanted to give you the context of how all of this fits together. Let's go ahead and allow ourselves to explore our consciousness as the Tothic record, as the Metatronic sacred scribe, as Enoch, both human and divine. Closing your eyes, taking a nice deep breath in, and a nice big exhale. And another filling breath in. When I say deep breath, that's all I mean, is filling your body up with space of air and oxygen to allow for light to flow through. And just continue to cycle your breath like that until you feel as though a hollow space has been formed, not only in your lungs and in your heart, but in your belly. Beautiful. And now up your spine. And then most importantly, into your mind, almost as though we're releasing a cloud, like a vapor cloud, if you will. It's just rolling through the body as you take these breaths in, clearing the space, letting it reach the top of your mind and your head, your hair follicles, to the tips of your hair, to the very tip of your energy field. Nice, open, hollow space. All the way down to the tips of your toes. Ah, nice big sigh. We are ready to rock and roll. We're going to run some physical energy for a moment because the sacred scribe is belief. That means we are working the mind, and we want to pop the mind out of the physical body into habit fields that have been formed by past energy work, whether it's medicinal ceremonies, breath work, your basic meditation. You have habit fields. And for the most part, when we're going about our day to day, we are in the physical habit fields. What's known in energy circles as habit field 3. We want to go into your celestial or your Metatronic habit field. And oftentimes when we hit challenges, when we hit the big pattern interrupts, it is because we have not equalized the flow of energy between this bigger or more expansive habit field and the physical body. And so we're going to let the mind get out of the way. Again, our evolution has brought us to this point where we can run this really high frequency energy in the brain. But in order to support it in doing so, we get to allow that field within the physical brain extend out and beyond. So ready? Here we go. Let's start with the light link, sending the link up, connecting to that golden thread, imagining the sun shining down upon your mind. And instead of having it illuminate today your inner mind and imagining the warmth of the sun on your forehead and your chest, you need to clear any additional thoughts out. Let it happen here. Let the sun's rays and that golden light burn through it. Ah. Nice big exhale. Allowing yourself to identify where the sun is hitting in that additional expansive habit field. We have a nodal point If you imagine looking for like a tennis ball sized orb, it may be a little bigger for some of you, and it generally hovers around the 11 or 1, somewhere between 10 and 2 above the head. It may be more above the ears. And it's there, and just go ahead and envision pushing that up to the top, to the 12 o'clock position, just above your head. And imagining the sun now shining down and feeling its warmth up there, much higher in the energy field, and letting that melt through your system, allowing yourself to feel the neural network igniting within your mind. And then imagining your neural network expanding as though the brain has expanded just beyond the confines of the physical body and the skull. Let yourself feel this orb of light and circuitry being forged as you send your intention and focus into the earth, finding your feet, and much like roots, a tree, feeling those roots reaching down and in deeply into the earth. Nice deep breaths in here. All right, we are going to pump and activate this field utilizing Mula Bandha breath. Go ahead, breathing in and imagining like a balloon expanding in the heart space. From the heart space down into the upper rib cage, imagining it expanding in relationship to the orb that you imagined moving to the top of your head. And for those of you that are less visual and much more physical or knowing, this is a great spot to just really pump this field up. I want you to take some nice intentional breaths as though we're pumping the billows of the lungs. We're blowing that balloon up and allowing it to stretch down into the belly. We want to be activating the lungs into the organs and using that imaginatory balloon to begin to push and pump that lymphatic system to engage the energies. Our belly, 10,000 bits of information per millisecond. It is known as the second or third brain. There's heart brain and gut brain. It is taking in the most information. Well, heart brain could be more. I don't have that as a fact. I do know it's 10 trillion bits of information per millisecond that gets processed and read through the heart. Conversely, your brain is operating at about, I think, 4 bits per second. So start pumping that breath, really expanding that belly. And then on the next inhale, as you feel that balloon being opened and expanded from the lungs down into the belly, go ahead and give it a pause and a squeeze. Squeezing the core muscles. And as you do, imagining you're simply mirroring what's happening up in the mind. So as you squeeze the belly, it's as though you're squeezing that energy field around the mind, that neural network around the mind, and exhaling out. We're doing an activation today. Again, breathing in, holding and squeezing. Get as deep as you can. Ultimately, with each breath in, you want to move through the belly until you feel it pushing up, that balloon pushing up like a watermelon against your pelvic floor, squeezing against it. Starting out about softball, tennis ball size to softball, to cantaloupe, to watermelon. Again, breathing in, creating space, pushing against all those organs, squeezing against it, and then taking a moment to hold and imagine the mirror effect up around the mind. So you're drawing, contracting the energy field in around the mind, squeezing the light in and exhaling out. And let's do this 2 more times. Activating the field. Breathing in, holding, squeezing, looking for the mirror, and exhaling out. 1 more time. Breathing in, holding, squeezing against the belly, imagining the contraction up above in the mind. And on this exhale, go as deep as you can. Let it exhale as though you're releasing every cell and oxygen molecule in the body through the breath, like balloons being set free. Just keep exhaling as far as you can go. And holding at the bottom of the exhale. And on that inhale, I want you to envision as though you just fanned the fire of a flame, as though a light is ignited inside of your heart and your mind as you breathe in. And that super conscious pops to life. Brilliant diamond ray shining in the inner mind, exploding out beyond the knotty points and the many chakras around the skull. One big, brilliant diamond ray refracting in its colors and brilliance, sparkling, shine bright like a diamond. Sparkling. A couple of nice breaths to glide on here. Just let yourself feel the energy. You guys are ready to go. All right. So we are also working with the azure flame. So as you feel this diamond ray, we're going to call forward a future vision. I want you to invite your superconscious through your Metatronic mind to take a trip forward in space and time along a timeline. And it doesn't have to be a literal line. It could be a spiral. Actually, I want you to draw a circle in your mind with that diamond ray and step through the circle. It should be a diamond, a brilliant white circle. Stepping through that circle, and before you, a vast staircase emerges. And it's a staircase to nowhere, staircase to heaven. And as you begin to take those first steps, know you are stepping out into the dimensional space of a very specific temple. Nice deep breaths in. Feel the energy shift around you, whether there's sound in the house or in the room, air conditioning or heat kicking on, or a gentle breeze if you're outside. Feel the shift. Let your superconscious, it knows, by the way, your superconscious that is running this diamond ray, that is eternal light within you, it knows where to go. So we're just going to give you a moment to let the body and the brain, the conscious mind connect up. Go ahead. The staircase will start to spin. That'll move things along more quickly. Imagining as though we're walking up a spiral staircase. Let yourself spin. You may begin to see stars, Star Wars style, flashing past you, ribbons of light, shining bright like a diamond. You may feel yourself within a tunnel of light at warp speed until you suddenly land. And before you, it may show up like an ancient door. It may show up like a blue pillar or column, a bright blue light. Either way, if you have the door, go ahead and place a hand on it and let yourself use your own azure flame in your palms, envisioning like lightning, energy passing through the palms, that blue light, feeling very crystalline, like cool water moving through your hands. Let yourself envision your superconscious shifting frequency. Notice how quickly and easily it does. Whether you actually see the blue in your mind's eye or sense it, or just feel a calming, cooling effect. That is the field. We are syncing with a very specific field of energy. Imagining yourself flooding that door. coming into harmony and resonance with that column of liquid blue azure flame, as blue as the Caribbean sea. Not only does the light pour through you as you step through that door, feeling your feet opening, drinking up the blue flame from this space, and also feeling yourself in a dome-like area. If you were to gaze above, you would see lightning bolts of electricity, this blue light flashing down and out and around you. Like a diode, like a node. And let yourself begin to journey into a future point in time when you are, I'm going to call in one with the codes of the Emerald Tablet. And so before you, you may begin to see fields either of a book, many books, or an emerald stone. It could be a reflection pool of liquid green energy. And so what's interesting about this vision is we are connecting to the Emerald Tablet, which is actually the final flame of the Metatronic codes brought into manifest form. However, we're using the azure flame to connect with it in the here and now. And so whatever it is that you are meant to receive, whatever powers as a writer and a keeper of the stories, it's going to reflect for you in just a moment all of the lifetimes that you have used the written word to govern your consciousness, to shift your consciousness. Let it show you how your beliefs regulate and guide information within the mind. Let it show you how your superconscious draws on this field and interacts with it. Now coming into form, I see this emerald tablet condensing into some form of jewelry. It's looking like a ring to me, an emerald ring. Whatever object it conforms into or shifts into, let yourself embrace it and follow the path that emerges. The golden path, azure path that leads you to a blank age within the scrolls. Sacred quill, your pen emerges as you embrace this gem and its powers. And the opportunity to write your deepest desires. Be the scribe. Let your heart write. I know we're working the mind, but let your heart and your mind converge. Again, we are here to be merging the minds, our Metatronic mind with that of our human mind, merging the mind. As all of these layers compress and condense. And as you see, maybe even unspoken words or symbols or glyphs being scribbled across the emerald pages. An unspoken, unintelligible wish Granted, coming from such a deep space that your conscious mind can barely grasp it. It's almost like a whisper in the back of your mind of a voice long lost, waiting to come home. It is from there that we are writing today. And so slowly taking a breath in, exhaling out, embracing these tablets, compressing and condensing them back into that gem, allowing that to be stored within your heart. As we breathe in the azure flame, exhaling it out, should feel icy, like breathing in on a freezing day. Imagining that cold oxygen and air passing through your belly. It's almost as though the coolness rises from your root, passing through the lungs, bringing the temperature down. The point that in the convergence, you feel the shocks and the chills of the energy integrating with your physical body. Keep cycling the breath and the flow. Beautiful job, everyone. Coming all the way back. Allowing this blue light to now wire itself through both the mind and the expanded mind from habit field 3 into 4, down the spine, forging new neural circuitry and connection between the heart brain, superconscious mind, the metatronic mind, and also the gut brain that is drawing in this azure light, knowing that it is landing here and now. More nice deep breaths in as you come all the way into the heart, feeling your body illuminated completely now in this azure light, licking the lips, relaxing the jaw. And now feeling as though we have booted a new system, a new program into the mind, slowly allowing the superconscious to reload the system, breathing in and out, turning on and turning up, rolling the shoulders, wiggling the toes. I'm going to let you drift in this space and just enjoy the sensations and the feelings of this new program, if you will. It's like we've shut down the computer and we are now rebooting it. So take a few moments. Don't jump right out of our time together. Let yourself be carried, coming back fully energized when the superconscious is fully ready, fully energized, full of vitality, full of light, full of love, full of the powers to write your destiny. Namaste. So much love.